Guess what?
What?
It's time to recommend stuff.
Is it time for the video?
Yeah, it's time for the video.
The one in which we recommend things?
The one in which we recommend things.
We should do that then.
Okay, what do you recommend today?
Today I'm recommending
Yes?
The Godfather.
Oh, okay.
I have the Godfather DVD collection. Now, this is both Godfather movies.
Can I stop you for a minute?
What?
That was weird.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is both Godfather movies, Godfather Part 1 and 2, so both of them. And it also comes with this weird special feature where what I like to call Godfather Tries to Save the Pope. So...
Okay, you're going to explain that, right?
Yeah. This is the Godfather DVD collection of Godfathers Part 1, 2, and 3. And Godfather Part 1 and 2 are the movies I'm recommending.
Plus Godfather 4, Godfather Saves the Pope.
No, Godfather 3 is the Godfather Tries to Save the Pope. Now, here's the deal. Godfather 1 was a really good movie, but it seemed like a lot of setup to me. In fact, by the end of the movie, and I don't feel like this is any surprise now that I've seen the second movie, but when I watched this movie, I thought, Wow, not Rao.
I thought Rao! That's the son I worship because I'm Kryptonian.
I thought, Rao, that's really interesting. Marlon Brando isn't really even the main character in this movie. He just seems to...
You gotta start saying that.
Rao!
And it's Marlon Brando, too, to boot. Like, that's just great.
Indeed. But Marlon Brando's not really the most important guy in this movie. He's just kind of this figure that's kind of hanging over everyone, making things either or just making it difficult for Michael Corleone, played by Al Pacino, to really function. And because, of course, the Godfather being Marlon Brando's character, Vito Corleone, Vito makes it kind of hard for the family to go legit. Michael's working towards it. And that's kind of the bottom line of both movies. It sounds really simple. But the cool thing, what I really liked about this is how well parts 1 and 2 really work together. And it's really about a man damning himself by trying to make his family a legitimate family business. And it's really interesting to see how far down Michael Corleone's life just spirals. It's super interesting. Super interesting. Now, you get to part 2, and what I liked the most about part 2 is that we have a lot of, like, historical footage. I'm not using the right words. It's past footage. I don't just want to call it a flashback, because it seems like everything that happens in Vito's past in part 2, young Vito is played by Robert De Niro, who does a stellar job. And this... Part 1 and 2 just mesh so well together that all the flashbacks seem like they're essential to the plot.
Yeah, so you're talking about more like nonlinear storytelling.
Yes.
Or at least, I have to admit I've never seen The Godfather Part 2, but it sounds like it's like nonlinear storytelling. Yeah.
It's what it feels like. And yes, if you just watch Godfather Part 2, it is just flashbacks. That's what it is. But they are essential parts to the story. I don't feel like Godfather Part 1 is a complete movie. I feel like Godfathers Part 1 and 2 is a full movie, and then you get to Godfather Part 3.
That's probably why they were acclaimed so hard, both of them. You know, yeah. I mean, like Godfather Part 1 is very often considered to be part of film canon. It's on a lot of top 100 lists, and then but then Part 2 kind of gets that treatment also.
Yeah.
And so it makes a lot of sense.
And Godfather Part 3 happens so much after the fact that it's just bizarre and weird, and I don't recommend it. Oh, I really don't recommend it.
Most people don't like it.
I take that back. I'd recommend watching it for a laugh, but just keep in mind that it's not really done in the same vein.
How unwatchable is it?
It's very, very different tone, and like, for example, all of the colloquialisms, we'll call them, the vernacular used in Godfather Part 1 and 2, seem natural. It seems like it's part of the world. But then you get to Godfather Part 3, and it seems like somebody's just shoving words in their mouth and saying, go sit in this limo and have these words that were ripped straight out of Godfather Part 1 and 2. Oh, okay, this is weird. And it's super bizarre. And also, Andy Garcia's character, here's the deal. I don't feel like Godfather Part 3 has a terrible plot. I feel like there's a lot of just walking around and talking, which is not necessarily germane to what's going on. It just kind of happens like, oh, well, now we need to explain it to each other so the audience gets it. So it talks down to its audience just a little bit. And also, I feel like Andy Garcia's character is necessary, but completely misunderstood. I feel like, all right, here's the big problem. Andy Garcia's character is set up to become the Godfather 3, essentially. He's set up to become, he's set up to take Michael Corleone's place. And what's so weird about it is that this guy, Garcia's character, is more of an Al Pacino stereotype clone than he is the Godfather. Now, that's what's so cool about Al Pacino's performances in Part 1 and 2, is that they're very understated. It's using Al Pacino as an actor as opposed to a caricature of himself. And
which he is frequently in a lot of other movies.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with Pacino and De Niro and Walken, you get these guys...
especially De Niro, yeah.
These guys who are
like Analyze
bigger.
This and stuff like that, yeah.
Precisely. These guys who are bigger than their own careers. Like, their careers are bigger than they are, and they can't break away from it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's hard to get Tim Burton to do a movie that's not Tim Burton-y because that's what they want. They say, get out there and give us the thing that you gave us last time. And then people like Jim Carrey say, I can actually act. Okay, if you're gonna give me $70 million to do this, I guess I'll.
Well, and like somebody like Walken's a good actor. I don't think he's a non-versatile actor. The problem is he has an accent that sounds nothing like anybody else you know. I think De Niro's kind of that way too, to a degree. Although he's at least got more of the Italian thing. You listen to Walken, you're like, what does that sound like? Christopher Walken. And
he's from New York in Walkenville.
Yeah, exactly. Like, where is he from? And then like you're gonna cast. If you're going to cast Christopher Walken to type, you're going to cast him as Christopher Walken. I mean, and I think that some of those other guys had that too.
Exactly. So that's what the problem with Godfather Part 3 is that their main character that they're trying to set up to be become the... Oh, God, it just frustrates me so much. It's not necessarily on paper a bad movie, but you can make a bad movie with a decent script. And I feel like the script had its issues itself, but I feel like they really just ran this thing to the ground and made it completely separate from the other two movies, and it just bothers me. But I do recommend Parts 1 and 2, and I recommend 3 for a laugh, because it gets really bizarre. And also, Sofia Coppola is a terrible actress. Oh, she's so bad. And I'm not the first person to say it, and maybe I should feel a little bad about that. But, I think her name's Sophia. I know she was the Coppola girl in that movie. So awful. She's like, yes, it would be terrible. Oh no, I've been shot. Now, I'm exaggerating.
No, everybody that I've ever heard talk about that movie has done just what you did.
So bad. So bad.
You know, Vince, I think I haven't seen it. I haven't seen this yet. I think that's what Stand Up Guys was supposed to be. Was like, let's take a lot of those guys that like have that type that like we were talking about, that just like you don't know how to classify them. Let's just put them all in a movie together. Because you got Walken there, and you got Alan Arkin there, and I think De Niro's in that movie.
I like Alan Arkin.
I like Alan Arkin a lot too.
Makes me happy.
So different now than he did like 20 years ago, even.
Yeah. 20 years ago, he was building jetpacks and stuff.
That's true. That's true.
Rebuilding jets.
Right, and then
fixing things with gum.
Right, and then before that, he was doing a drunk superhero musical. So anyway, which I just reviewed on Superhero Rewind. Check it out. And now that's the Return of Captain Invincible. You remember the Return of Captain Invincible?
I was going to reference that earlier, but I couldn't remember the name. I was like, oh, it's that one movie with that hilarious song.
It's the only movie I can think of with the word return in it that's not a sequel. Okay, and now, now I'm going to try to think of one. Anyway, are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I now would like to recommend the complete works of William Shakespeare. All of them. Read everything Shakespeare ever wrote. Okay, done.
All of them.
All of them.
Do it now. It's homework. Report back to us in a week.
So, if you're like me and you studied a lot of literature in college, or even high school, you know, most people have to do some Shakespeare in college, or in high school rather, and also college, depending on what they take. I'm doing so well right now. You might find yourself wanting some Shakespeare in your library. Maybe you might have your favorite play. You might have a couple favorite plays. You might be the kind of strange person that likes to actually read classics. Like us weirdos, and you might want some Shakespeare in your library. And this is a really great way to get it because it's one volume. It doesn't take up an entire bookshelf or two like the volumes I had in college, all of which I kept, and then I bought some more of the plays that I didn't have to read in college, and then I tried to get a complete set, and it took up like a whole freaking shelf. And then for Christmas one year, my wife bought me this, and I got to give away all those books, and then I had a lot more space that I very quickly spent up with other books. Anyway,
for space.
This is this is a really pretty volume. I've recommended one of these volumes from Barnes & Noble before. This is the 1994 edition, but it's still in print, and not much to update there with Shakespeare. So this is
he's not changing things.
No, he's not coming back. He's not George Lucas. He's not coming back redoing his stuff. Anyway,
putting CGI in his plays.
Look, the Tempest does not need to change that scene anymore. It's okay.
The Tauntaunist.
Anyway, so this is a really pretty volume. It's got it's got nice kind of silver or gold rather pages, and it just looks nice, and like I said, I recommended, I think, the H.G. Wells volume that I have like this, and these are pretty inexpensive at Barnes & Noble. A lot of time they'll go on sale. You can get them very often for like $9 or $10. I think they usually retail for $20. They're definitely worth that, but if you can, usually when they go on sale, I'll try to pick up 2 or 3 of these. And this last time I got this, and I also got a volume of Dickens, which was his all of his Christmas stuff. So it was a volume that has a Christmas Carol, but then he also had some short stories and things about Christmas. I don't know what it was with Dickens and Christmas, but it's a whole book about almost this size Christmas stuff. Anyway, so this is kind of what it looks like inside. Text, of course, is going to be a little bit small, because otherwise this would be, twice the size as it is. A lot harder to, and it'd be a lot harder to read. But that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not awful.
Don't you think? And when I'm reading a play or something like this, I kind of like to have it in 2 columns anyway. So, anyway, it's really nice. That's about all I wanted to say. I'm not going to sit here and like review any of Shakespeare's plays or anything. But just if you want some Shakespeare in your collection, this is a really nice way to get it. And like I said, it's available at Barnes & Noble. You can get it online, I'm sure. And I really like it. Vince, do you have a favorite Shakespeare play?
Yeah, I've always been partial to Hamlet. I know that's kind of stereotypical. Everybody either likes Hamlet or Romeo and Juliet. I don't really care about Romeo and Juliet, so I like Hamlet.
Yeah, me too. I also like King Henry IV a lot.
Yeah,
I always really like that one.
I like that one a lot too. My favorite quote.
And Richard III I liked a lot too. Yeah.
King Lear has my favorite quote, which is, "I kid you not, duty, duty do." And
you also didn't like that play too, right?
No, I didn't really care for it. It wasn't bad. I just didn't care for it. And I looked back at I was watching the BBC production, and this guy started going duty duty do, and I said, "That's stupid." They're adding lines to Shakespeare. And then I went back, and there it was, in poetic verse.
Yeah,
it was
and
duty
like,
duty do.
Oh well, he had to make some sort of a choice as an actor.
Yes, I guess that makes sense. He's supposed to be crazy. It's why he's saying duty duty do. So he wouldn't go duty duty do.
Some people have this idea with Shakespeare plays that everything has to be delivered exactly the same way, and you're like, no, they're just lines you don't understand because you're not looking up words you don't know. I mean, ultimately that's what it is. But anyway, so that's really cool. I also wanted to put in a quick plug for Much Ado About Nothing. The Joss Whedon version that's coming out. Joss Whedon, apparently, I haven't watched it yet. Apparently, just put out a trailer for it finally.
I saw that.
And did you? I haven't seen it yet. But anyway, apparently that's coming out soon. I don't know how he's distributing it. I have no idea. But anyway, really looking forward to that because I've been wanting to see that for a long time. He's been talking about it for 3 or 4 years now, and it's finally happening. So
I saw the trailer for that, and I went, wow. I didn't know what it was initially because it was just shots of people walking around doing weird things, and I thought, wow, man, this is like everybody who's ever been in a Joss Whedon movie. And then I found out it was a Joss Whedon movie.
Yep.
And I went, oh, well, that makes sense.
He made that either right before or right after Avengers. I think he shot it before Avengers, and then he started editing it right after. I think that's what I heard him say in a panel at a con. when I was looking at panels from cons online. Anyway, well, thanks everybody for watching us recommend stuff. We'll recommend something for you once again next week. That was a really interesting pairing, wasn't it? Godfather with Shakespeare.
Yeah, The Godfather, written by Mario Puzo.
And Shakespeare, written by Shakespeare.
Shakespeare, written by... I will write myself. I'm good at signing my name.
Oh, man. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next week. I'm Captain Logan.
I'm Vince.
See you later.